I request CA Satish to escort our speaker, Srijay Sridharan, Associate Director, Data Analytics Altair, onto the dais and welcome him with a book.
Experience, including 14 years of hands-on experience in advanced analytics and AI across multiple roles like consulting, delivery, and pre-sales. Currently, he is working with Altair as the Associate Director for driving analytics journey across businesses of financial and shared devices. Previously, Srijay had various business roles with marquee organizations like SAS Institute, Citi, TCS, Genpact, HSBC, etc. With this brief introduction, we welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving a person like me an opportunity to speak in front of such a distinguished crowd of people who love numbers. So I had a craze for numbers from the day I started doing my master's, so it's still there till now. I've been working with a couple of analytics firms all these years. I have worked with multiple different domains actually, and one domain which I really liked working was for the finance departments, for the banks, and for the FP&A segments. So just to cut short, the presentation which I'm going to make today is how analytics or data transformations can actually help the CA people, the CA crowd in the long run. So if you see the first slide out there, one thing which you can always see that the value of analytics is always to improve insights. So we have data across. Data is the next oil. All of us speak about it. But how do we make the data speak by itself? Speaking of, to make the data speak, there are many techniques. There are a lot of things which are required for you to do. Now, that is where analytics and automation really helps. So the whole value of having analytics and automation is to improve insights, efficiencies, and the quality of output. And that is what all of us want to do at the end of the day, right? How can we use our data to improve our business, right? Just few snapshots if you see here, the adoption of analytics and automation. So you see that around 39.7% of the total people, companies world over plan to implement or are currently implementing data analytics and visualization, out of which 10.1% have said that they have already implemented the said technologies and they're actually gaining values out of it, right? Whereas from an automation perspective, we see that out of the total number of CEOs, around 71% say that having automation in the industry will actually add value and improve the service level with all different type of automation techniques which are available in the market. Whereas 28% still think that it might not do too much of a help, but yeah, it's good to have, right? And that is where this 28% lie. Now, from a acceptance perspective, most of the people who have accepted technologies, maybe the AI technologies, to be honest, because that's a buzzword right now. So AI, when people talk about AI, the first question they ask is, what is AI? Artificial intelligence is a huge field, it's an ocean in itself. Machine learning, automation is just part of it. There are so many things in AI which we have still not covered or uncovered in the area of financial services, right? But I feel that a lot of things are being done by government these days. So they're doing a lot of work on AI, especially tracking wildlife, to track tigers in sanctuaries to see whether they have got their shots. Are there poachers coming up? How many number of tigers are going in a particular region? Are they getting enough food and stuff like that? So that is something which I had implemented way back in Rajasthan for the Ranthambore tiger reserves a long back. But having said that, so from an AI perspective, 22% from an accountancy perspective, from the CA world, 22% of accountants who said that they are already investing and they are getting value out of AI. So we still have a huge number of people who are yet to get into AI and analytics, right? And that is where the scope is already there. How do we get into analytics? Either you can have your own center of excellence within your organization to have skill sets who know how to work with analytics, incorporate the analytics, data scientists, train them in a way that they become a hybrid CAs, right? So you can have CA with data scientists, be a new group of people, a new hybrid of people who know numbers and they can actually churn the data. And that is where actually the things go on. Now, from a global trends perspective, if you see what are the key trends looking in the market right now, I mean, these are numbers which are there for the last 2 years, to be honest, right? So key areas where people in accounting normally really work on globally are into remote workforce. Obviously, they want to understand how they can actually optimize their workforce wherever in the world globally to have an increased flexibility and productivity. Same is the case with data security is a big concern, absolutely. And how do we take care of data security, especially the cyber security part? Another big area would be blockchains, and because blockchain gives you cheap, secure and transparent tamper-proof transactions and accounting reconciliation techniques. Same is the case with data analytics. Data analytics is a huge field, actually, I would say, and that is where there is a huge scope in data analytics and automation. Right? One other area where a lot of these people would like to go across is the cloud-based computing, because that gives you cheap computing wherever you are at this point of time, instead of you having your own set of servers in-house, right? So that adds a lot of value. And one key trend which a lot of accounting companies really want to have is advisory services. How can they improve their advisory services with new offerings incorporating analytics? So that is where a lot of value comes in the field of accounting at this point of time. Okay, so what are the current challenges? So when I look into data automation and analytics, I specifically speaking of automation at this point of time, what the key challenges which a lot of people right now face are mostly into reconciliation, various type of reconciliations, be it a balance sheet reconciliation, credit card reconciliations, inventory reconciliations, journal entry creations, etc. But bulk of the areas where we normally see a huge scope for improvement in automation would be the first four, which is reconciliations, variance analysis, journal entry creation, and inventory reconciliation. So those are the primary areas globally where a lot of people are actually having challenges. And companies like Altair, who have products like Altair Monarch and Automation Server and Amtosoft B4, we actually help the companies take care of these challenges quickly, right? So, and that is where the value really comes. And these are quick wins. They're like short-hanging fruits which you can directly take very easily. So you can reduce a lot of your production times. You can improve productivity and quality of your mundane jobs which you do every day, right? And because a lot of the time which we are wasting right now from a firm perspective is just organizing data. 60% of your time is wasted in just data preparation and data and just to make sure that you have the right data. You might be getting data from different type of bills, data sources, big data platforms, applications, etc. But how do you bring them together, create a single version of truth? That single version of truth creation was one of the biggest challenges which a lot of CA professionals really face, and where we really help companies like PwC or big firms like KPMG, etc. We actually help them improve or decrease the time which they normally do for these manual works, right? And that is where we really add a lot of value. Now, what I'm going to show you, so this is the product which I'm looking at this point of time. So Altair Monarch is a single product which can actually help you access different type of data sources coming from nearly about 43 different sources of data. It can be big data platforms, it can be normal DBMSs, flat files like PDF, text files, statements. You can have any type of system-generated PDF files. We can help you extract the data, convert it into a row column format, and for backend, for your downstream activities. So Altair Monarch actually helps you do that, right? So I'm not taking too much of time because 15 minutes is what I have, but I'll just try to give you the best advantages of having this tool actually, because it gives you seamless connectivity. It can extract key information from all type of files, Tally files, Oracle or retail order management systems, bank statements, aging reports, invoices, bills, whichever you call it. We can directly take all those files and we can extract information from them. We also provide capabilities of account reconciliation and exception reporting across business functions. And all these things can be done end-to-end, both the back-end data automation and the front-end data automation with our low-code, no-code platform, which is called Monarch. right? So, and that is where we actually give value to the end customer. Now, what I'll be showing you is a small video of 5 minutes where this data is a sample data which I got from one of my old friends. It's a mass data, obviously, from one of the big 4. And they had a challenge of extracting data from these files. So this is where the tool really helps. So one of the issues where the tool really wanted to get help is how to save time in processing these files. Now, so a normal tally report is something like this, right? So you can see this is a tally report which a lot of these people have. We might be seeing it every day. Now, how do you actually work on these type of files, right? How do you extract this? So this is a PDF data. It can be a text file also, or it can be an Excel file also. How do you work on this? To do that, the tool which I'm talking about, which is Monarch, it can actually take data from all these different type of files, and it can work on them easily, right? So we can directly drag those files without too much of an effort, and we can work on that data directly. Now, what it does is, I'm just dragging the file, right? And while dragging the file, it extracts the data here. And post-extraction, you can directly make sure that, using few clicks of a button, it will give you options of actually extracting those key information, the key details, the dimensions of the data, everything at one shot. So just with a click of a button on the top left corner, which is called as the auto-define, we can do everything. Right? Or the tool also gives you capabilities of manually extracting, files which are not really in a standard format, right? So we can do that too. So there are different type of ways in which you can do it: a floating, or a regex technique, or a standard method. And by doing that, what you do is the tool gives you capabilities of directly extracting these files, right? And with just a few transformations, and these transformations are actually taught by us. We give you training on all these when you have this product in your organization. We give more than a week of training, and we help you find how do you actually trap data from these type of files, what type of keywords you need to give to extract data. So for example, if I want to take data from that particular date format, I can give different type of keystrokes there, and I can directly get the data from there. And while doing that, what it does is it only extracts those few data points from the data, and you can directly extract that, right? So, and that is a value which the tool gives you, right? It has extracted all the relevant data in that particular file which is required. And then it is just selecting the data, that's it. The moment you select it, all the data gets converted into a row column format. As simple as that. So you can see that the file gets converted into a row column format below. And then it is just about accepting the data, as simple as that. And once you accept the data, we actually can convert into a complete file. So this is just a small process which it does in the background to extract the data. And finally, once you accept it, the data is all yours. You can transform your data the way you want to do it. And we can automate the process. Now, either you can use a tool individually to do basic, or manual work. Or if you want to do the entire automation, we also have something called as an automation server, by which you can actually automate all this process at one shot. So every morning, 9 o'clock, when you come to your office, the data is ready on your desktop or laptop, and that is as simple as that. So the entire file which you see, which you saw some time back from Tally, has been converted into a row column format. As simple as that, right? And the next set of video is all about how you can automate the entire process with that things. So the tool gives you more than 80 plus data transformation functions for you to prepare your data, right? So there are all different type of functions which it can do. And finally, you can export it in any format you want, be it the Excel, JSON format, or if you want to send it to Power BI, Tableau, Qlik, etc., you can do it. Now, Monarch Automation Server just helps you automate the jobs, and that is what it does. We just have to, with few clicks of a button, without even writing a single piece of code, you're automating the entire process at one shot, and that is what it's doing. So there are multiple templates which the tool provides you, or you can actually create your own template, and you can create the workflow once and for all. And once you create the workflow, it is all about connecting the data with the workflow, with the project which you just created some time back. You register the project there, and you automate the entire process. And that is how simple is it for you to actually make that project. Now, these are all different type of workflows which are there. It requires not more than a week to 2 weeks of training. A person who is not an analyst, who is not a data scientist, or who is not a data analyst, if he's just a business user, he can learn this tool in 2 weeks. And we have done it. I have done it myself. So I have actually taught people in 2 weeks, people who are just working in audit departments. So they have learned it, they have seen the value of it. And you can even send the emails out saying that the data has been ready. You can actually configure your emails to your server. And as simple as that, it gives you everything, it automates the entire process, and finally it throws out the results. You can actually see the logs, everything are there. So if you want to do an audit for the tool, if you want to do a history tracking, all those things can be done. So that's a very small, demonstration of the tool. I'm sure this might create some amount of buzz, but if you want to know more about the product, I'm always there available on the booth, or if you can always reach out to me on my cell phone number. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to you all today. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This indeed is an interesting package that is up for grabs. I request CA Chandan Kumar Hegde, President KSCA, to present a memento to Mr. Srijay Sridharan as our token of appreciation and gratitude. We wish you all the success ahead, sir.